This story takes us to the future year 10,191. By this time, mankind has touched the pinnacle of progress and has established its foothold on various planets of the universe. But despite all this advancement, humans have completely abandoned the use of supercomputers and artificial intelligence. This is because in the past, AI robots tried to take over humanity. As a result, thinking machines were strictly banned. However, there were tasks that required powerful computers, especially space travel. The solution to this challenge was found in the mineral, which exceptionally enhanced the physical and mental capabilities of humans. By consuming it in large quantities, a human being can develop thinking like a supercomputer. Now humans with advanced brains from minerals are used instead of supercomputers for space travel. This mineral is found only on one planet in the entire universe, named Arrakis. It is a desert planet, where this rare treasure is hidden in the sand. But achieving this is not easy. The sands of Arrakis are home to giant sandworms called Shai Hulud, which prove deadly to mineral collectors. The planet Arrakis is also known as Dune. Life on this planet is extremely difficult, and only the native Fremen know how to survive in this harsh environment. The first Fremen lived in peace and freedom, but after the discovery of the mineral, his life became difficult. People from several powerful planets came here and began mining the minerals, and began oppressing the Fremen. This situation forced them to hide in inaccessible areas of the desert. Currently, on Arrakis, a cruel and powerful clan called the Harkonnen is mining the mineral. These people were ruthless and tyrannical, who not only collected minerals, but also subjected the Fremen to inhumane oppression. But one day Emperor Shaddan Carino ordered the Harkonnen clan to leave Arrakis. With this, he handed over the responsibility of Arrakis to the Atreides dynasty of the planet Caladan. But there was a deep conspiracy hidden behind this decision of the Emperor. In fact, the Atreides dynasty was known for its strength and cleverness, due to which the Emperor feared that King Leto of Caladan might replace them and become Emperor. Due to this fear, the Emperor conspired with the cruel King Baron Vladimir of Harkonnen to eliminate the Atreides dynasty. Under this conspiracy, Atreides was going to be called to Arrakis and suddenly attack him. Here, King Leto of Caladan had realized that Emperor Shaddan was plotting something against him, but it was not possible for him to disobey the Emperor's order. Therefore, he sets out for the planet Arrakis with his family and subjects. Leto's wife Jessica belonged to an elite lineage called the Bene Gesserit. The Bene Gesserit was a community that consisted only of women and had unique physical and mental powers. This community had planned for centuries to mate with various lineages to give birth to a son, known as the Kwisatz Haderach, who could see the future as a messiah and show humanity the right path. Jessica was ordered by her preceptor mother to give birth to a girl, but Jessica decided to produce an heir for King Leto and gave birth to a son named Paul. Jessica taught Paul all the arts of the Bene Gesserit in the hopes that he could become a Kwisatz Haderach. Paul began to see glimpses of the future, in which he saw the impending danger to his family and lineage. On the other hand, King Leto considers befriending the Fremen tribe in order to establish peace on Arrakis and consolidate control over the precious mineral. For this, he talks to the Fremen leader Stilgar, and together with a Fremen scientist, Dr. Kynes, travels to the planet and collects information about it. But one night, Dr. Wellington, a physician of the Atreides clan, disables the palace's security system. This results in a sudden attack by the Harkonnen army and the Emperor's army. Atreides warriors become confused by this unexpected attack and begin to lose. Meanwhile, Dr. Wellington attacks King Leto and paralyzes him. Wellington tells Leto that Baron Vladimir has taken his wife captive. He had to betray Atreides to save his wife, but Wellington's conscience was distressed by this betrayal. So he places a poisonous artificial tooth in Leto's mouth so that the Baron can be eliminated at the right time. Meanwhile, Atreides' forces are completely defeated, and the Baron captures the castle of Arrakis with his comrades. Baron brings Wellington and Leto before him. There, he tells Wellington that his wife has already been killed and then murders Wellington as well. He then attempts to kill Leto, but Leto breaks his artificial tooth and releases poisonous gas inside it. The effects of the gas take Leto's life, but Baron survives due to his energy shield, although he is badly weakened. On the other hand, Jessica and Paul are left to die in the desert by some soldiers. The Baron had promised not to kill him at the behest of the Bene Gesserit preceptor, but a plan was being hatched to kill him by deception. Then Jessica uses her mental powers to subdue those soldiers, kills them and escapes from there with Paul. After this, both of them start living and hiding in the desert. Duncan, a brave warrior of the Atreides Empire, somehow manages to save his life. Fate connects him with Dr. Kynes. While the two are traveling together in the bottomless desert, they meet Jessica and Paul. Dr. Kynes takes Jessica and Paul to a secret base of the Fremen, where they are provided with special suits to survive in the desert. But then Sardaukar army attacks there. Duncan risks his life to save Jessica and Paul, battling enemy soldiers, and ultimately attains martyrdom. Dr. Kynes then sends Paul and Jessica on a plane to another Fremen base, but when she herself tries to escape, she becomes a victim of Sardaukar soldiers. In the final moments, she summons a giant sandworm and confronts her enemies and sacrifices her life along with them. On the other hand, Jessica and Paul head to the Fremen and approach Stilgar and his companions. There was also a girl named Shani, whom Paul had seen many times in his dreams. Paul expresses his desire to Stilgar to join their group. During this, a Fremen warrior challenges him. Paul defeats the warrior, and the Fremen are impressed and include him and Jessica in their group. Although Jessica expresses her desire to return to her home planet of Caladan, Paul prefers to establish peace on Arrakis in order to fulfill his father's dream. Thus, Paul and Jessica set out on their difficult journey with Fremen. So guys, this is where the story of Dune Part 1 ends. Now let's move on to Part 2. Harkonnen has captured the castle of Arrakis and its mineral deposits. The Baron has started mineral mining again by making his nephew Rabban the king there. Their intention is to wipe out the opponents from the entire planet, and for this they are carrying out continuous attacks. On the other hand, Jessica and Paul reach a safe base of the Fremen. Their Stilgar addresses everyone about Paul, saying that his prophecy is now about to be fulfilled. Their messiah, Lisan al-Gaib, has come to save them. The Fremen believed that two people would come from the outside world, a mother, who would become their preceptor, and her son, who would be their savior. The Bene Gesserit and the Fremen both believed in the same prophecy, they just had different names. The Bene Gesserit called it Kwisatz Haderach, and the Fremen called it Lisan al-Gaib. Stilgar requests Jessica to take the place of his preceptor mother, as his former preceptor mother had died of old age. To make the prophecy come true, Jessica agrees to become the preceptor mother. After this, he is fed the venom of a sandworm, which increases his powers. Since Jessica is pregnant, the toxin also affects her unborn baby, causing the unborn baby to communicate with her mother. Jessica also urges Paul to take the poison so he can see the future clearly and become Lisan al-Gaib, but Paul refuses to be the Messiah. His only objective is to bring freedom to the Fremen. He adopts their ways and becomes a skilled warrior by learning to ride the sandworms. Impressed by Paul's courage and dedication, Chani comes close to him, and gradually the depth of love between the two begins to grow. Paul repeatedly disrupts Harkonnen's mineral excavations with his Fremen comrades. He destroys their machines and annihilates their men. Impressed by this bravery, the Fremen community give Paul a new name, Muad'Dib, and this name becomes a symbol of awe and respect all around. But no one knew that this mysterious warrior was actually Leto's son. On the other hand, Baron's nephew Rabban fails repeatedly in mineral digging. The Baron, enraged by his incompetence, makes his younger and dangerous nephew Feyd-Rautha the new king of Arrakis. Feyd-Rautha's temper was capricious and ruthless, which made every situation more frightening. Meanwhile, Jessica realizes that she needs the support of more followers to survive in Arrakis. South of Arrakis, there were millions of Fremen who believed in an ancient prophecy. For this reason, Jessica decided to go south. However, Paul constantly had dreams that if he went to the south as the Messiah, a fierce war would break out in which countless people would die. Due to this fear, he sends his mother to the south, while he himself decides to stay in the north. One day, Paul meets his old trainer and warrior Gurney Halleck. Gurney somehow survived the attack on the Atreides. He tells Paul that the Atreides family has powerful nuclear weapons hidden in a secret location in Arrakis, with which they can easily win this war. But Paul was fearful of the destructive effects of those weapons and was hesitant to use them. Meanwhile, the Baron's younger nephew Feyd-Rautha attacks the Fremen's northern base and kills many innocent people. This incident forces all the Fremen to flee south. Now Paul decides to become Lisan al-Gaib, but Chani remains dissatisfied with this decision. At Jessica's insistence, Paul is given a poison that gives him clear vision of the secrets of the past and future. During this time, Paul learns that his mother Jessica is actually Baron Vladimir's daughter. This meant that Paul had the blood of both Atreides and Harkonnen flowing in his veins, and the Baron was his maternal grandfather. Paul declares himself to all the Fremen as their messiah and king of Arrakis. He promises them freedom and prepares them for war. After this, Paul sends a message to Emperor Shaddam, revealing his true identity and challenging him to battle. Due to this challenge, the Emperor reaches Arrakis with his army and allies. He severely punishes the Baron's failures and carelessness. At the same time, Paul arrives there with millions of Fremen warriors. They'd first use nuclear weapons to weaken the Emperor and the Harkonnen army. After this, they start eliminating the enemies with the help of giant sandworms. When Rabban tries to escape, Gurney Halleck kills him. After the Emperor and the Harkonnen army are destroyed, Paul enters the palace. There, he kills his maternal grandfather Baron in front of everyone. After this, Paul expresses his wish to the Emperor that he wants to become Emperor himself by marrying his daughter Irulan. Actually, this step was taken by Paul only for political gain, because the true love in his heart was only for Chani. But the Emperor rejects his demand. Paul then challenges the Emperor to a duel. Accepting this challenge, the Emperor sends Feyd-Rautha to fight in his place. After this, a fierce and exciting battle takes place between Paul and Feyd-Rautha. Ultimately, Paul puts an end to Feyd-Rautha with his unique ability and courage. This defeat forces Emperor Shaddam to accept Paul as the new Emperor, and Irulan also agrees to marry him. However, this decision makes Chani extremely angry, and she sadly goes away somewhere alone in the desert. Meanwhile, people from several powerful clans arrive in the vicinity of Arrakis, who have come to protect the Emperor. But when they learn that Paul has now become the new Emperor, they refuse to accept his authority. Seeing this, Paul orders all of his Fremen comrades to wage war against them. As a result, a terrible and destructive war begins, in which millions of people are killed. Finally, Paul's dream, which he had been dreaming of for a long time, will come true. So guys, this was the explanation of both parts of Dune. If you like this video, don't forget to like and share it. To see more such interesting videos, subscribe to our channel and also press the bell icon so that you can get all our new videos on time.